Hello YouTube, thanks for tuning in to another Starcraft 2 broadcast. My name is Anaris. Today we're here watching a 1 vs 1 from the North American ladder featuring PvZ Spanishiwa spawning as the Red Zerg in the top left position against his blue Protoss opponent, ppgBubbles, in the top right. Now, a little bit of information about both players. Bubbles, he is currently ranked number 35th in the North American Grandmasters League. He's also very well known for playing in smaller matches like the Reddit King of the Hill. I don't want to say smaller matches per se, but in comparison to, say, like the GSL or something like that, we haven't seen any significant showings from Bubbles just yet. But I mean, he's certainly got the potential. I've seen a couple games from him previously. I think I've actually cast another one or two of them that have all turned out very well. So I'm looking forward to seeing good things from the Protoss player. Now over here we have Spanishiwa, and this is a player who I've actually received daily requests to cast more games from. So I went and hunted down a few of them, got a couple from the pile, and looking to cast these games in the coming days, so you can look forward to a lot more Spanishiwa, as his name is just popping up all over the inner tubes, man. He is super popular for, I guess, revitalizing Zerg play, just kind of bringing a new style to the table, and it's getting a lot of victory because really just not a lot of people know how to practice against it, or have not had a lot of practice against it, rather. And the whole build revolves around, it's called the Ice Fisher build, by the way. And it revolves around focusing on droning up, using queens and spine crawlers for defense, expanding early. You can see that's exactly what he did right here. Not surprised at all at that. I mean, like I said, this has pretty much been his staple build for Zerg recently. And going into mid to late game, very, very, very strong. So the weakness to it, though, is it is susceptible to some early game pressure, and combined with the fact that this is a relatively short rush distance between these two players, I would not be surprised if Bubbles tries to exploit that. We see he's already got the probe over here. He's scouted out Spanishiwa. He knows the expansion's going down, and he's even just kind of keeping the probe over here for as long as possible. Looks like he's trying to regenerate the shields, going pretty quick. Almost got it to 100%, and it looks like he's going to engage the drone once again. He might be able to take it out. Oh, man, 3 hit points, so very close. One more zap. One more zap. Cut the corner. No. Who knew you could get so excited about a drone in the first 5 minutes of the game? But hey, that's what StarCraft's all about, man. Just having fun and enjoying the matchups. So we're seeing over here Spanishiwa. He's scouting out Bubbles. He knows what's going on in the base and might lose this drone. Whoa! Yeah, it looks like that one went down super quick. Bubbles with the first kill of the game, I do believe. 1-0. Pretty interesting stuff there. Alright, now a little bit of information about Spanishiwa, and I actually just want to clear this up because there's still some folks that I actually get email about this. People are angry at me because they feel like I'm mispronouncing his name, which they say should be Spanishiwa. Well, I just want to clarify, his name actually is Spanishiwa, but due to the fact that Battle.net naming restrictions only allow so many characters, when he joined Team PvZ, he did have to abbreviate his name a little bit. So that's why you have Spanishiwa instead of Spanishiwa. And the name came from, he actually grew up in Japan, but he took Spanish courses. And Spanishiwa is kind of a combination of Spanish, the word Spanish, and the word konnichiwa, which means hello, hi in Japan, or Japanese. It actually means hello in other places, too. But, no, that's pretty much where his name came from. And like I said, he did have to shorten his name. So I just wanted to clear that up for those of you who may still be a little curious. Now, looking at Spanishiwa's build, we can see he's kind of sticking to what I expected from him and what we've all seen lately from his builds. The Ice Fisher, got the queens, you can see the units. He's got, 4 queens right now, 3 of which are down here. A lot of times what you'll see him do with the queens, kind of block off the ramp and maybe block them off right here. He doesn't have any spine crawlers just yet. But as with how this build goes, I would suggest that we're going to have them in just a minute. Sure enough, there we go, about on time, as we're seeing a little bit of a harassment come over from Bubbles. Couple sentries and a zealot, not going to be able to do a whole lot. You see, there's 3 queens down here at the front, so I wouldn't expect any sort of drone harassment to really take place here. It looks like he's actually going to be nailing a couple creep tumors, which is going to be a little annoying for Spanishiwa. Of course, he's going to have to expend a little bit of extra energy that he could have saved up for, say, a transfuse, or, you know, just throwing out a couple injections. Anyways, I mean, it's not a game changer or anything like that, but still, it's a little annoying. It's those little things that kind of throw you off just a tiny bit. Protoss moving in here. Looks like he is actually going to make a run for the main. There's no queens here. Force field's going down. So it looks like, oh man, Spanishiwa was trying to block this off. You see the force field actually pushed another queen up there, but it is too late. Bubbles actually was able to get to the top of the ramp and is going to be able to take advantage of the fact that there are no defenses in the main. And, you know, Spanishiwa realizes, but you notice how he's trying to keep with his build regardless. You can see how this is affecting the income right now. It is knocking him down a good bit, and is going to allow the Protoss player to catch up a tiny bit with the economy. You see his expansion right here is now complete. So this is going to buy him some time where he's actually ahead on the mineral income. Of course, Spanishiwa is still kind of hanging out around the same gas there as well. But look at this, using the spine crawlers to absorb some of that initial damage, allowing the drones to come up here, get a surround on the Protoss forces, forcing some spine crawler or some force fields. But now the spine crawlers are in place, and this has become a death trap for Bubbles. He is completely walled in here, not able to get out. I think even this drone was just forcing the... oh, looks like they were trying to mine, but still. That was very, very impressive play, you know, by Spanishiwa. Bubbles handled it really well, popping up to the top of the ramp like that. I think that was a great move. He figured there weren't going to be any defenses up there. I mean, why would there be? You know, the choke points right here, and of course later on, right down here with the set of destructible rocks. Why would there be anything up here at the top of the main base? Well, good play on Bubbles' part. Unfortunately for him, though, wasn't able to hold it off there as Spanishiwa responded very quickly. As we're seeing now, Bubbles does have his economy going pretty well, working on all four geysers. Both players are actually, look at that, neck and neck on the mineral income right now, bouncing back and forth. Same harvester count, just about 48 to 46. So we can look at the units lost right now and see that it's actually very close so far in this game, 1,300 to 1,200. And we can see the workers killed right now, 11 for Bubbles as compared to 0 for Spanishiwa. Pretty good stuff all around. Looks like Bubbles is going to be continuing on with the gateway build. He's going for double upgrades. Now this is going to be pretty interesting. Again, he's probably hoping to do another attack here in maybe a few minutes. I don't know. You see he's got the Twilight Council. He could be going for the Zealot leg upgrade. He could be going for Blink Stalkers, maybe teching a little bit farther down. We're seeing right now Spanishiwa is continuing on with the Zergling harassment, of course, having that metabolic boost. Delayed did again kind of restrict him from early game harassment with the Zerglings, but now he does have that upgrade, and he will be able to maybe pop into a mineral line or two, do a little bit extra scouting. Of course, he is getting his own double upgrades right there, so that's going to help him a good bit against what looks like another attack coming from the Protoss. And before this starts out, I do want to point out there are several infestors on the way, and Blink Tech is being researched about 25% complete. That'll help out a decent bit with the Stalkers against the Zergling surrounds. He's going to have to watch out. Fungal growth. I'm sure the Protoss player is aware of this type of strategy that we're seeing from Spanishiwa. Fungal growth is an essential part of it. Infestor play in general. So we're going to have to look and see what kind of response that Bubbles is going to be putting out on the field for that to counter the Infestor play. Look at that very nice fungal growth right there, keeping the Stalkers and everything in this little bunched up position. I mean, as if the force fields weren't enough, man. They're just restricting mobility there. Protoss just kind of hunched himself against the corner. But I mean, really, what were his options? He really didn't have a lot. He was already committed to that fight when he went over there. So he went over there. He went over to this position, killed as much as he could, made those units not die in vain. And now we're seeing a response from from Spanishiwa coming over here with 3 infestors. What could he be doing? I think right now he's just kind of scouting around, seeing what's going on. Look at that fungal growth landing on top of the Stalkers right there. Blink Tech is done, so it actually allowed the Zerglings to get us around and do a nice bit of damage there. I do like how he is retreating to the top. Very good use of terrain, blinking back behind the pylons there, allowing him to get away from the Zerglings. Couple Stalkers very low. You can see he's actually doing a good job with the micro there. He doesn't have any observers yet. You can actually see he doesn't even have a robotics facility, no bay, no anything like that. Just pretty much sticking with the gateway build right now. Now, he might decide to go ahead and tech up with something else in a little bit once he has this third base, but for now, I think what's going to happen here is he might actually be forced to continue producing these gateway units, because now Spanishiwa is established, he's into the mid-game here, and this is where this build really shines the most. Really going into the late game as well, it helps out a ton, but we're seeing here so very strong of a position for Spanishiwa. Look at that, the fungal growth just decimating the Blink Stalkers, and now he's forced to retreat back to his third base. There's a couple cannons, alright, so he's not going to be able to be quite as harassed with the Infestors. He has a good defensive position to fall back to, but look down here, Spanishiwa going ahead with his own third base. One thing that's kind of interesting to point out, a little bit of a map dynamics here, you can see that Spanishiwa's third base actually presses him closer towards the Protoss, whereas the Protoss natural pushes him towards Spanishiwa at first, but then the third kind of does the opposite effect there. So just a little interesting map note to keep in mind, as the Zerglings are looking like they're just going to be able to run in, not any wow, I cannot believe there's no contention there whatsoever. Couldn't get the word out for a second, but now the probe line is just going to be decimated in both the main and the natural. Look at that, he's actually taking down the cannon first. That's going to buy Bubbles just a little bit of time. But you see the response from Spanishiwa, burrowing the Zerglings in both the main and the natural. No cannons here, still no observers. We do have a robotics facility finally on the way. Couple Zealots actually going to be heading into Spanishiwa's third main here. Oh, it looks like they're heading back. Maybe? I don't know. Let's keep an eye on that while we watch what could be another attack here. Don't want to miss either bit of the action. Yeah, it looks like the Zealots are going to be taking out the Queen and establishing dominance over Spanishiwa's third base. He will be responding over here with, actually, it looks like an attack on the Protoss third base, maybe fungal growth on the mineral line here. Oh, beautiful placement. Look at that, probe's going down super quick, exploding all over the place. One infested Terran left for good measure. I like that. Those poor Zerglings getting taken out right there. I think these ones have gone out too. Yeah, it looks like he rebuilt the photon cannon. So all in all, we can see the units lost now, and see that it's definitely favoring the Zerg player in terms of actual resources lost. 8,000 to 5,600. That probe loss right there is going to be pretty brutal. Of course, with three Nexus in play, he will be able to recover that fairly quickly. But still, so far we can actually just... Ooh, Ultralisks on the way, folks. Gotta love the Ultras. You can see he's actually researching weapons and armor 3. So those Ultras, when they come out, they are just going to be brutal on the field, man. Great, great units to have. Now let's actually look at the Workers Guild, 29 to 20. So definitely a great comeback in the Workers Guild for Spanishiwa here. As we look at the income, we can see Zerg definitely has a clear mineral advantage. Looking great in that. Looks like Protoss is actually just going to work on taking out the rocks for a little bit there. 3 Ultras now in play, still hanging out with the Infestors, so we have a little bit of lag. Hopefully that goes away. Yep. Alright, that's fine now. I still don't know what is causing it. I'm only running Fraps and Starcraft 2 and one other thing, but that's a very memory light program. Honestly, what I really need to do is just format my whole computer. I haven't done that in forever. But back to the game here, plenty of Stalkers for Bubbles. It'll be interesting to watch the dynamics of the next fight. With all of these Ultras on the ground and the Lings, I would expect to see some good use of the terrain by Bubbles here, using the Blink to its fullest ability. Looks like he's actually be doing exactly that, blinking directly into the mineral line of the third base for Spanishiwa. Looks like we're having some nice harassment over in the natural, though. Several infested Terrans just making quick work of the cannon, the probes, and everything. Now, if Bubbles is able to get some Psystorm in, that'll certainly help out with the Lings a good bit. But he's going to have to watch out and make sure his force fields are in place, and make sure he doesn't just drop the storm, waste the energy, where the Zerglings can just run by. Also, the Ultras are going to make it rather interesting here. Of course, feedback would be very powerful against the Infestors. Very, very strong. Get a couple observers floating around the map, try to catch them, and that'll help him out a good bit as well. I do like how Bubbles is using the minerals to his advantage, creating a natural barrier, blinking. Very nice micro there, and the Ultras are continuing to run around. I mean, at this point, it's just sheer numbers. Spanishiwa has played his economy very well here, and despite the loss of this expansion, he does have another one which he can regain his income very quickly with. Bubbles, of course, has his own 4th base dropped right here, and looking at the army size right now, we can see 158 to 102. So Spanishiwa going into the next fight, sitting in a very comfortable position. He's got plenty of infestors, plenty of ultralisks, nice fungal growth right there on the stalkers, and is going to be continuing on towards what looks like the middle of the map. Maybe, no, it's kind of bouncing back and forth there. Now, this is going to be an interesting choice here. The Archon's nice fungal growth on the Zealots. Look at that. He is just fungling the hell out of them, and then using the Archon. Oh, wow, that is great play by Spanishiwa. So very entertaining. And look at this, Uzzlegorf just running off on his own, doing his own thing. He doesn't care what anybody says. He wants probes for lunch, and he is going to dine on them to his heart's content. Looking up here at the main fight, looks like several Archons are being mind-controlled, just running around, killing so many Protoss forces. Look at that, 8 kills on that one. I don't think that one was mind-controlled, but still, a couple of them were, and they were just wrecking the Zealots. Nice little Zealot wall being warped in there, although at this point, that's probably not the best unit to be warping in here. I mean, again, the Zealots warping in like that. It was trying to protect the Nexus and basically just create a choke right here, but just warping them in right next to the Ultralisk like that. I love how this Archon is in this Stalker just having like a shooting gallery up here at the top ledge. Very nicely handled there. Good use of terrain by Bubbles. But this expansion, you can see it's flooded. It's gone. Bubbles doing everything he can to, ooh, nice, bringing that low one back. Doing everything he can to keep it alive, but it's just not going to happen. Circling reinforcements, of course, very good call there. Highly mobile, able to reinforce super quick. And I mean, they're 3-3. I mean, how can you really go wrong right now? So overall, I'd say Spanishiwa is just going to continue to maintain his lead, grow it here. Of course, both players are still working on 3 bases, actually technically 2 for the minerals right now. You can see this one's actually starting to get mined out a good bit. Same thing here for the natural. More Archons are on the way, and Bubbles is doing everything he can. Of course, Archons do extra damage against biological units, so you can see they actually do a ton, 47. And in the new patch, I believe they're getting a range increase, just a tiny bit. Oh, mind-controlling all 3 Archons. Look at the splash damage landing right there. Between the Ultras, the Archons, it's just a ton of damage going all around to those Zealots. And now Spanishiwa will be able to finish off these Archons. You see he's just friendly firing them down. Now they've been, the control is gone. Oh, he's tried to hang on to him still. He may try to chain mind control this bad boy. But no response over here from the Protoss, nothing in terms of economic harassment or anything like that. He is forced 110% to be dealing with the Zerg force in the middle of his base. Banelings! Oh! Oh, that'll be nice. Just wreck those Zealots. A little bit more micro on both sides here. Again, this is just a continuation of the fight that we saw started about 2 or 3 minutes ago in real life time. Just these guys going back and forth. Bubbles, he still is able to hold on to this expansion. We can see the income now as a result of what's been going on. Both players still 4 digits, so that's good at least. And oh, this poor Ultra. No! You killed Uzzlegorf, you jerk! Big friggin' jerk. Yeah, he'll build another one. It's okay. See, there he is right there. That's the nice thing about him. He just pops back up. This poor guy, on the other hand, he does not know how to die with honor. Just burrowing. A shame to the Zerg. Absolute shame. Now, this is a very good call right here, Bubbles. He's got to take out this expansion. He's got to do something about the Zerg economy, which is just running rampant. And it looks like he might not actually be able to do a whole lot about it. You see, he might be forced to blink out. No, there's the fungal growth right there as he's retreating back towards the pipeline. Fungal, oh, nice. Fungal Warauth is able to get out and use the terrain to his advantage. He's going to have to do something about these Ultras, though. There are... oh, back and forth. That's just... I cue the Benny Hill theme right here, man. That is just so called for right now. A couple of those suckers going to be going down. Oh, nice last-second blink there. Of course, Zealots, they are actually able to take down the Ultra pretty well. You just got to make sure that you don't have them warped in at a choke point one at a time like they did a few minutes ago. I like how Spanishiwa is actually bringing in the Changelings here, despite the fact that he's already so late into the game. You know, if he can get these Changelings in and sneak them into the army, or if he can just simply distract Bubbles by making him think there's a couple extra zealots, maybe a little bit of miss micro there. It'll help him secure victory that much easier. Nice little. It's the little things like that that really show the top players. So here we go. Maybe another attack from Spanishiwa. The pressure on this game has been very solid throughout the match. I have to say, very impressed. Bubbles tried to take advantage of that that early game attack where we saw that Spanishiwa wasn't quite ready for. Did a very good job handling that, but looks like it's kind of turned in favor of Spanishiwa here, as we are about 20 minutes into the game, getting pretty close to the 30-minute mark. We're seeing another nice fungal growth there. And as far as the income actually goes, you can see that Bubbles is definitely going to be missing that expansion right now. You can see the income is clearly... Oh, nice feedback. Oh, at the last second, mind control. So very close. Nice handling of the Zerglings there. Plenty of Banelings. So all in all, we're just seeing a little bit less action at this point, but still very, very well handled by both players. Oh, fungal growth on the Observer. As far as the actual game itself goes, though, I'm like I said before, I really think this is going to be going towards or in favor of Spanishiwa. Look at the army size right now, 134 to 67. There's the GG from Bubbles. So sure enough, there we go, folks. That is going to be game. Bubbles taking a defeat to the Zerg Swarm. Oh, that's just gross right there. Ugh. But yeah, it's going to conclude this match. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to try to find some more matches to cast. And as always, I will try to keep you up to date on any additional news. As far as the Idra thing goes, you know, you can check it out over at Team Liquid. Pretty interesting stuff that he received, the 90-day ban. But I mean, don't go and post a whole bunch of garbage and whatnot. Just go over there, read it for yourself. And if you have anything insightful to say, or productive rather, go for it, but I don't want you to go over there and post a whole bunch of crap and then say, Anaris made me do it! Because, yeah, that would be irony, and that is not what I'm saying. Be involved!